First, every Visual Force page will start and end with Apex page component. Every VF page will start and end with Apex page component. What is this Apex page? Apex is a namespace. Page is the name of the component. Name of the component. Every VF page will start and end with this component. Every VF page will start and end with this component. Apex page. Third, attributes. What are these attributes? Attributes are nothing but properties. Attributes are nothing but properties. First attribute we have is ID. What is this ID? Let us say if I have Apex input text, we have three components. Out of these three, if you want to refer to any one of these component, how do you refer? I have Apex input text, Apex input text, Apex input text. I want to refer to the second component. If you want to refer to the second component, how do you refer? If you want to refer to the second component, how do you refer? There are three components. I want to refer to the second component. How do you refer? The name of the component is same. Apex input text, Apex input text, Apex input text. Out of these three, I want to refer to the second. How do you refer? So to identify them uniquely for every component, we have to give some unique name. So that unique name is what? ID. Generally, attributes will be in smaller case. Now what is that? If you want to refer to the first, I will say ID 1. Refer to the second, I will say ID 2. So if you have a group of elements, if you want to refer to a particular element, it will be easy for you to refer if I have IDs. So what is an ID? ID is a unique name given to the element to recognize it or to refer to the component uniquely in the page. In the page, if you want to refer to a component uniquely, then we require a ID. I hope you are good with this. Follow. What is the concept? What is the purpose of it? This thing is used refer to the component right. Next one we had API version. This will specify version of the API we are using. This will specify version of API we are using. By default, it will take latest version. By default, it will take latest version. Now look at this. I don't want to go with the latest version. I want to refer to the old version. In the old version, there is one property which is not available in latest version. Then what will you do? I have to create this page with respect to that version. Then if you want to refer to any particular old version, we will give API version equal to version number. If I don't mention any version, by default it will take latest version. If you don't mention any version, by default it will take latest version. I hope you're good.
Sir, can two different VFU pages can have two different versions,
Yes,
API versions?
Every page is independent. Every page is independent page. We can design our own page with our own version. Current version of APIs. Then we have
Satish.
Yes.
Maybe it's a silly question, but I really wanted to understand that what is the significance of keeping versions? Just a revision, just for
the purpose of making the version, I told you very clearly. If you don't mention any version, you will take the latest version. Let us say 39 point, okay, now 43.0 is going on. In 42.0 version, let us say there is an attribute called ABC, or else there is an attribute called color on background. Now, if you apply these two, we are getting a background color of the page. Let us assume these two properties are removed in 43.0. In 43.0, those two properties are removed. Now, when I am building the page in 43.0 version, if I want to apply those two properties, it is not possible. I have to go for custom design. Instead of that, what I can do? Keep a API version equal to 40.0. So, run this page with the 42.0 version, then specify the attribute. That attributes will work. In 43.0, if I give those two attributes, it will not run. But if I say API version equal to 42.0, if I give those two attributes, it will run. See, version to version, sometimes what happens, some new features may be added, old features may be removed. Now I want the page with the attributes which are available in the old version. Then what I should do? Mention API version equal to and version number. I hope you are good.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Let us go to the next one. Please, all of you ask the question at the end. At the end, ask the question at the end of the topic. Now, show header. What is the show header? It is a Boolean value. It is a Boolean value. When it is set as true, when it is set as true, Salesforce components when set as false, they are hidden. By default, false. By default, true. Go back here. Show header. Now, if I don't mention anything also, it's a true. So what you are finding here? Salesforce header, Salesforce server component. The same thing if I give false. So what happened? No Salesforce look and feel. Only the white page came on which the data is displayed. So show header equal to true. That means standard Salesforce look and feel will be applied on the component. So header equal to false. Standard Salesforce look and feel is hidden. Standard Salesforce look and feel is hidden. I hope you are good. People are good with this. No. Let us go back to the next one. Sidebar. Boolean value when set as true, standard Salesforce sidebar is displayed. When set as false, standard Salesforce sidebar is hidden. Default value is true. Go back and see. So here we had making false. By default it is true. So what happened? Header is coming but sidebar is not coming. Header is coming but sidebar is not coming because I told false. Write the program, click on save, Control S, then click on preview. When you write a program, you have to save it, then click on preview. Setup. This is setup. You have force.com menu, right? It is a Boolean value. Salesforce standard sidebar component. Force.com menu. By default, it's false. Default value is false. Go back here. Setup equal to true. So what happened here? What we got here? Force.com menu. So body, and we got here force.com menu. So force.com menu is coming. Basically sidebar components will come, but what is displayed here? Force.com menu is displayed. Right. Next we have render as. If you want to render the page, then we give if you want the page to be rendered in the form of PDF, render as PDF. So what is happening here? The content of the page displayed in the form of PDF. The page is displayed in the form of PDF. If you want to see the content of the page in the form of PDF, render as PDF. Read only. If you want to open, content of the page in the form of read mode, then give read-only as true. When read-only is true, we can display 10,000 record. Generally, only 1,000 records we can display. If I say read-only equal to true, we can display up to 10,000 records. Standard controller. If you want to refer to any one of the object, I told there are two types of controllers, standard controller and controller extension. If you want to refer to any one of the S object, see, now in Apex programming, we are calling object of a class. In the database also we have a object. So when I say object, you have a ambiguity. Am I referring to object in the database or object of a class? Because if you want to use a class, we need to create an object. So instance of a class is also an object. Table in the database is also an object. So whenever I say object, you have ambiguity. Am I referring to the object in the Apex programming or object in the database? That is the reason your database objects are referred as S objects. Database objects are referred as S object. Salesforce object. Whenever I say I am referring to S object, it means I am referring to the table in the database. Account is a S object in the programming. Contact is S object in the programming. Customer __ C is S object in the programming. So whenever I say S object, I was referring to the object in the database. Whenever I say object, I was referring to the instance of a class. I hope you got my point. So from now, whenever I say S object, I am referring to the instance of a table. I am referring to a table in the database. Whenever I say object, I am referring to the instance of a class. So standard controller. This will refer to S object. We can define only one S object in a page. One S object. This can be standard object or S object can be, S object means object in the database. It can be a standard object or it can be a custom object. Doesn't matter. Example. So how many S objects we can define? Only one S object as a standard controller. One page can have only one S object as a standard controller. Let us go to the next one. Standard controller. When is a standard controller and controller? This will refer to Apex class. We can only define one Apex class as a controller. Fine. We can only define one Apex class as controller. This will refer to Apex class in the VF page. We can only define one Apex class as a controller. Extension. This will refer to if you want to take standard controller, then we use extension. So what we have here, so attribute ID, API version, show header, sidebar, setup, render as, read only, standard controller, extensions. Then we have content type. Now you want the content of the page to be generated in the form of Excel. You want the page to be converted in the form of Word document. Now I want this page to be sent to someone as an email attachment. I want the content of this page, whatever the page I generated, this has to be invoice. This I want to attach to someone as a Word document and send it. Then what I will do? V1 display in the form of MS Word hash 1.doc. What is the one name of the file? DOC is a document. So VND view and display MS Word in the form of MS Word. Name of the file is 1.doc. So let us see. What happened? It opened in the Word format. It opened in the Word format. Right, boss? So go back to this. I hope you are good.
Satish, can you use multiple extensions?
Come again.
Can we use multiple extensions?
Not able to hear you. Can you be loud?
Can we use multiple extensions?
Yes, we can do that. We can do that. Okay. Now, see, standard controller is one, but extension can be many. It can be many. Content type. What is the content type? This will specify in which format the content of the page should be displayed. This will specify in which format content of the page should be displayed. VND MS Word hash this is how we have created. I hope you are good with this. Right, boss? Content as a file. So this will specify the basic properties. What are the properties we have? ID, API version, show header, sidebar, setup, render as, read only, standard controller, controller, extension, content type. There are many more, but at this level we can understand only these properties. Right, boss? I hope everyone is good. So every VF page will start and end with Apex page component. Every VF page will start and end with Apex page component. I hope you are good. So let us go to next. Okay. Before we go further, let us create one example. Everyone, create the page. Everyone create the page. The page should generate output in this format. Now, if you want the content to go to next line, what should we use? Here is what? Break the line. Break the line. It will break the line and go. Okay, goes to next line. If I don't use BR after this, what will happen? It will display in a single line. I want the age to be displayed in the next line, city to be displayed in the next line. So what we do? Name Satish, BR, age 33, BR, city Hyderabad. Now everyone create a VF page with this, which will generate this output. Everyone create a VF page which will generate this output. Right, boss? Done. So how do you create? You will give control and click on Control S, save the page, then click on print. Right, basic structure. Right, boss? Let us go to the next one. What is the next component we had? We had the second component, section header. Now, if you open any page, on the top you are finding a logo, getting a lead, home, then we are getting some information here. Contacts, logo, right? We are getting this. So this top one is called header. What we call it as section header. It will create a header for the page. So what is the component name? Apex section. What is the purpose? This component with header for the page. Attribute. The header logo is auto generated. Whatever the logo we are going to get, that is auto generated by the system. You cannot give whatever the logo you want. that is auto generated by the system. Attributes. What are the attributes? First one, it is a string value. Header of the page. Then go back and see. Now a page. So what happened here? You got employee. What we got here? Header, and we got title you have given as employee. We got here as employee. I give employee, so we received here employee. Then I give subtitle. Title, subtitle. Title, subtitle. Title, subtitle. We have help. Help means URL of the page. Now already we logged into Salesforce. Generally, what is the URL? If you want to tell the address of Capital Info Solution, if you want to tell the address of my classroom, right? Now I'll say, boss, come to India, come to Hyderabad, come to Amirpet, come to Shantinariam, come to second, okay, come to third floor, my class will be there. If you are already in Hyderabad, will I say come to India, come to Hyderabad? No. What I give? Come to Amirpet, come to, okay, Shantinariam, come to third floor. You are already in my main building. If you are already in the main building, what I will do? Boss, go to next building, go to third floor, my class will be available. Right? So what is it? When you are already here, I will not give the complete address. I will give the relative address. I will give what? Relative address. Are you getting my point? If you are already in the main building, then I will not tell you, come to Amirpet, come to Hyderabad, I will not tell you. I will say, boss, go to next building, third floor, Satish class will be there. Right, boss? Now what was this? I am giving a relative part. If somebody is coming outside the India, then I would say, come to India, come to Hyderabad, come to Amirpet, come to, okay, come to Capital Info Solution, then go to Shantinariam, go to third floor, my class will be there. Am I right? Am I right? So this is the address, relative address. Here also, when I give /fx page, what does it mean? ap4.salesforce.com/ because I already logged in, I am not mentioning salesforce.com because already I logged in. That's why I am giving only remaining part, apex/page name. So how do you open a Visual Force page? salesforce.com/apex/page name. salesforce.com/apex/page name. salesforce.com/apex/page name. I hope you are good. Good with this? Go back. What happened here? Help for this page. When I click on this link, Apex page is open. First, let me remove the content type. It's getting downloaded there. If I click on this, the corresponding page is open. Right? Help. When I click on the help, which page should be open? Then again we had this is a test page. This is a, are you clear about this? Am I clear? This is very good. Title, subtitle, help, description. Right, boss? Are you clear about this format? So it is generally creating what? Title, subtitle, help, then it is giving you. Then we had one main attribute. Here only I have to mention it. I forgot to mention the attribute here. The same will be applied everywhere. Rendered. So what was this? Rendered. Rendered means should I display or not? We'll come back here. I have a attribute called rendered. Rendered. Let's say rendered equal to false. Don't display this element. When I say rendered equal to false, don't display that element. Now what happened? Are you able to see the header? No. Rendered equal to true, you are able to see. Rendered. Should I display or not? Rendered. Should I display or not? I hope you are good with this. Now go back to this title. It is a string value, same story. This will be displayed. Then we have help. It is the URL of the page. It will take the URL of the page. When we click on then we had rendered. When we click on, when we set it as true, component will be when we set it as true, component will be displayed. When we set it as false, component will be rendered. Should I display or not? So title, subtitle, help, rendered, description. Description. What was this? This is a string value. This will be displayed. This will be displayed below the header. I hope you are good with this format. Title, subtitle, help, rendered, and description. This is how we are creating. Any query about this? Okay. Now let us create one example. Then the name of the page. Now create this. So what we have? Header, section header, title, subtitle, description, help. For the help, it has to open test page. Then we had a body. In the body, we are going to create name, college, and city.
Hello, Satish.
Yes.
Can you please tell me once again, like how to execute this page?
Save the page and click on preview.
Okay.
Save the page, Control S, click on preview. Done. How did you create? Title, subtitle, help, description. Title, subtitle, help, description. Then I told name some this is how I create. So what is the format of execution? Control S, save it. If you don't save it, you'll be finding a star here. If you are finding a star, the page is not saved. The changes what you made is not saved. If you find a star here, on the name of the page, if you find a star, the page is not saved. Control S, then the star is last one. Then we have preview. This is how we create. I hope you are good with this. Everyone has followed this, right, boss? Right? So we have seen only 2 components for the day. Let us do one more example and wind this class. Come to the next slide. If I don't use the BR, it will to give more space. If I give 1 BR, 1 line, 2 BR, 2 lines. To get the gap here, I give 2 BRs. The name of the page is product info. This is the example generated. I hope everyone has followed this, right? Start creating this example, everyone. Come again. Then what you do? You print the data like this. Right now, then give BR. Come to next line. Print the values. Okay. Okay. No. That's fixed. That's fixed format. People are good with this, right, boss? So what was that? How do you write this? How do you write this? Section header. It's going to give some BR and close it. I hope you are good with this. This is how we are creating the page. Once you create, what we do? Control yes, click on right, boss. So that's all from my end for the day. We'll continue on Monday.
Can